Hey guys, my name is Eli and today I'm going to be showing you how to use metatables in Lua 5.2. In short, metatables are a tool that allows Lua scripters to modify table behavior, and I'm going to be showing you what that means in just a second. Metatables seem to be a difficult concept for Lua scripters to understand. My goal is to explain this as simple as I can. Trust me, when I first encountered metatables, I pseudo-seriously contemplated giving the language up. So, with all that in mind, let's dive right in. Okay, so before I continue, I just want to say that it would definitely be a good idea to have some basic understanding as to how a function works in Lua. I assume that if you're already learning metatables, that you know about functions and their uses. If you're a scripter who skipped functions and went straight to metatables, then this video will be kinda useless for you in a practical sense. The first step is knowing how you want to manipulate a table's behavior. For this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to manipulate a table with the arithmetic plus operator. So, let's create two tables with integer values. I'm going to call the first table x with the values 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to call the second table y with the values 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so after creating our two tables, the question becomes, how do I add together the values of x and y to get a new table? And by new table, I simply mean 1 and 4 becomes 5, 2 and 5 becomes 7, and 3 and 6 becomes 9. Alright, so in other programming languages like Java, you can use a for loop or an array list, but unfortunately, tables are Lua's only data structure. The only way we can do this is through a metatable. So let's create a metatable. Alright, so you can call your metatable whatever you want. I'm calling mine table methods for clarity's sake. Within this metatable, we are going to define a function called a meta method, and this meta method will allow us to add two tables together. Now, listen to what I'm about to say next because it is very, very important. Before we type our function, or meta method in this case, we need to use a special key to indicate and let the compiler know, hey, I'm going to be creating a function in this metatable to do this particular thing to such and such table. These special keys can be found by simply Googling the words metatable events and clicking the first few links. And I actually have something pulled up right now on the luausers.org. And remember, this right here is the result of 2 underscores and not just 1. So we're going to be using the arithmetic operator add. So it's just 2 underscores and the word add. So let's create our meta method. So the meta method we want to create is one that would allow us to manipulate a table with the plus operator. So we're going to indicate that to the compiler, 2 underscores and the word add. And after that, after you've written that, we're going to equal that to a function. And this function is going to have 2 parameters, a and b, or in this case, they technically be x and y. Okay. Let's end our function right here. Alright, so the first thing I like to do before creating the main point of the function is to do a little conditional check. So if the size of a is not equal to the size of b, then return nil. And we're going to end our conditional on the same line, just for organization. Alright, so after you've created your conditional, we're going to create a temporary table. So this table is going to be of local value. So local, I'm going to call mine temp table, and it's going to be an empty table hanging just right here. So and the point of this temp table is whenever you modify the two tables, whenever you modify A and B, you want Lua to put the new values into a different table. Okay, so after that, we're going to create a for loop. So let's say for I equals 1 to, say, the size of A can be the size of A or size of B, really doesn't matter. And let's just end the function here. And this is where we create the main point of the table. So we're going to take our temp table that we've created up here. Oops. So we're going to do temp table I, which is a new table, it's going to equal AI, which is the first parameter, plus BI, which is the second parameter. It's that simple, guys. So after that, we're going to want to simply return our new table. And there's our function, or our meta method. After we've created our meta method within our meta table, we have one more very important step. So after we've created our meta method, we can't just simply say, hey Lua, I want to print x plus y. Can't simply do that because we haven't done this step. So Lua has a reserved keyword, and it's called set metatable, all in one word. And what this does is it tells the Lua compiler that you want this meta method here, this add function right here, to go into either one of these tables. So we're going to write our parentheses, and we're going to put x and table methods. So now we're letting the compiler know that x has within it a metatable, and this metatable is called table methods. So now that we've done that, we can begin to manipulate our two tables. So let's create a new variable. I'm going to call this change in x and change in y, or dx dy, and I'm going to equal it to x plus y. And the interesting thing to notice about this is what Lua is going to do is it's going to see this plus operator right here, and the next step it does is it's going to look within x and it's going to look within y for a metatable. And if it doesn't find a metatable with an adding function, it's going to give you a runtime error. So let's print our new table, which is dx dy, and I'm going to be doing that with a generic for loop. So for key value in pairs dx dy, do and for loop, and we're going to print our value. So if this prints right, we should of course get a new table of 5, 7, and 9. So let's run that and see what it looks like. And there you have it. We have our new added table 5, 7, and 9. Okay, so I want you to notice how I didn't set the table methods to the y table. So that's because when you're manipulating two tables, you don't necessarily have to set the meta table to both tables. But a drawback of that is, what if I had a table called A, and I wanted to, say for instance, I wanted to add table Y to table A. So that would give me, let's 11, 13, and that is 15. So this is the new table that I want. 11, 13, and 15. That is the result of table Y plus table A. So let's see what happens when I run this. Okay, gives me a runtime error, and this is because when Lua looked into table Y and table A after seeing this plus operator, it noticed that there is no metatable inside of Y and there is no metatable inside of A. So let's set our metatable table methods to table Y. And the result of that, it gives us 11, 13, and 15, just like we wanted. Now, just to make things easier, you can set your metatable to all the tables you have, and you won't have to worry about any runtime errors. So remember that this is only a basic tutorial on understanding metatables, and there are a lot more things that you can do with metatables and to tables in general. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was easy for you to understand, and thanks for watching.